Bush Radio. Bush Radio.
Your real talk radio.
Reading is feeding the mind. When he feeds his mind, his body is happy and he is rich. Feed the mind. Go to www.udarabooks.com. Udara Books, feeding the mind.
Daganan kilo petening kom lo moham. Di beta maso sanalom. Muasa benge kaputo.
State Affairs.
State Affairs with Edmund Obilo.
Let me talk to the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the PDP. I read the releases coming from your party, and it's regular. And there's this constant attack on the state of the nation, poverty, violence in the Northeast. How did we get to this point?
We were saying the obvious, and we were just expressing the feelings of Nigerians. We were reminding them of the mistake they made in believing that anything could change from APC. This administration came into office on the campaign that within 90 days or within, as a general, as a military man, he was going to overrun the militants, the Boko Harams, and wipe out all crimes in this country. But how many years now? The money that they claim to have spent on securing the lives and property of Nigerians. There was a time they even said they went for a loan of almost 365 billion naira. And at the time they came and told us that Boko Haram was technically defeated. Technically. Up to this morning, Boko Haram are still killing people.
Perhaps Senator
Folarin
should tell us what's going on.
How do you mean?
The killings in Nigeria.
No. The killings are unacceptable. I have to start from there. The security situation is worrisome, but it's more complex than that. The way Diran has been dreaming of PDP coming back to power, as I just said, it's more complex. These issues were there when PDP were there. Now, there's a lot of things I think is not right. The management of the Boko Haram war, for instance, the service chiefs, for instance, I can't understand why, in my own opinion, the service chiefs have overstayed their.
Have you lobbied for that? What is the Senate saying?
We've made our point, but you say at the end of the day, the president decides what he wants.
What's the president saying?
Well, he's not saying anything. So if he's not saying anything, what it means is that he wants to keep them and skipping them.
In recent time, the Senate president has been constant in the villa. What's going on?
Yeah, he has, because what he does is to go to the Mr. President and say, look, this is what the people are saying. When I say people, the Senate represents the people. So the people want to change. I'm not going to sit here and say because I'm in APC, we won't say what we think is right. I think the service chiefs should go. Bring in new people with new ideas.
Professor Adejumo.
Yes, you see, I believe that governance should be the overarching responsibility of everyone, irrespective of the party. For instance, and you must understand something, that the leader at the top, when he gets to that position, he may not actually perform to universal expectation. I'll give an example. Our number one labor leader about 12 years ago was Adams Oshiomhole. and he became governor in Edo State. And I'm sure today that Dr. Aborisade will not say he's on the same page with Adams Oshiomhole. Because when he became governor, I'm sure he must have been faced, with certain realities that changed his coordinates.
What are these realities?
Well, I didn't govern Edo State.
But are they not general realities?
Yes, they are. And when I was in PDP, and the way spoke just now was the way we were speaking about APC. So, you see, in governance, you will need certain level, of acumen. When we're talking about service chiefs, our problem in Nigeria is that we don't embrace the right technologies. And I don't think these service chiefs are doing anything positive in that direction. We need people who will approach this matter differently with technologies, with other methodologies, with other level of experiences and other level of interactions. Because when we are faced with a situation like this, we should look at other climes. We are not saying it's possible to make promises. Obama was ready to close down so many detention centers. He said we will not torture, we will not do this, we will close Guantanamo. Guantanamo is still open till today.
So when you get there, you meet the reality.
Yes, Obama met the reality. All he said he will do, he couldn't do them, even though he tried his best. But every leader must know when to change the hands that are driving the wheels.
Comrade Aborisade, are you not tired of listening to the story of PDP and APC? When will comrades like you chart a new course for the Nigerian people? When will the Aborisades take power?
Well, thanks very much. I think it is quite unfortunate that the PDP will be given an opportunity to ever have a right of say in the destruction, in the state of destruction of Nigeria. The APC continue to build on the destruction left behind by the PDP, to the extent that the PDP now has derived courage to even speak about the rot.
You are talking to Diran.
No, I'm talking to the ruling class, that they have all failed. Both the PDP and the APC have all failed.
You were the national secretary of the NCP.
The National Conscious Party, yes.
And Gani ran for president.
I also ran for gubernatorial position in Oyo State.
What happened to you?
Now, the basic problem is that the ordinary people have been so pauperized that they look up to inducements from members of the ruling class, who they ought to perceive, who they ought to see as their class enemies.
No,
they still look up to them.
Folarin has to respond to
and
this.
That was why Oshiomhole led the labor movement against misgovernance under PDP. But he contested on a program of the ruling class. And the program of the ruling class is to destroy the lives of ordinary people. They prioritize their own greed as against the basic needs of ordinary people.
We have politicians in the studio.
They seek public office in order to advance private interests.
We have a senator in the studio.
And against, public interest.
Senator Folarin.
That is the crisis that we face. They earn salaries that are disproportionate to the living standards of ordinary people.
Comrade Aborisade.
The presidential jets are still there, which the president promised to sell off, that there was no justification for retaining them. So the crisis that we face is that we have a ruling class that is preoccupied with advancing the interests of members of the ruling class as against the basic interest of ordinary people. They are indeed the problem of Nigeria.
Senator Folarin.
Thank you. Let me start by saying I first of all agree with the comrade when he said he's surprised that even PDP is having the guts to say they want to stage a comeback. I agree absolutely with that. But you see, what the comrade and Egbon is saying is, in politics, like Professor Adejumo said, what ought to be and the reality are two different things.
Educators.
Yeah, you know, you go in there and you think you're going to change the world, but there's so many dynamics at play.
What are those dynamics? Let us understand.
I have not been in an executive position.
No, you don't have to. You are a three-term senator.
Yeah. Interest. Yeah.
Who are these? This interest above the interest of the Nigerian people, right?
See. When you say interest of Nigerian people, you could say provision of basic amenities, housing, education, health. Those are basic things.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there are also secondary interests.
When you went to the Senate for the first time, your interest was to service Adedibu, right?
Not really. My interest was to serve my constituency.
But you needed to dance to his tune.
You have to, because that's the reality.
He was the godfather.
That's the reality.
He gave you the opportunity.
That's the reality.
Ladoja refused to dance to his tune.
See, when you say Ogaladoja, they had disagreement.
And you didn't want that disagreement.
How do you mean?
You managed Adedibu better.
We're different people. My own take is, if people, at the time when I came from England, I didn't have the clout to even contest for councillorship. That's the reality.
Yes, they gave you the ticket on the platter of gold.
And then this man helped me, because I've always dreamed about, serving people. And he gave me the opportunity, gave me the platform. So there is no way I'm going to fight him. No. And I make no apologies.
Even when he was working against the interest of the people.
How do you mean? Interest of the people?
The violence in Oyo State during
No. When you say interest of the people, Adedibu, everybody knows fights for the interest of the people.
Which
of
people?
The common people.
Common people?
Yeah, common people, yeah.
Common people?
Absolutely, common people, yes.
Professor Adejumo, because we're talking about these intrigues of politics that don't make them perform. You almost got a Senate ticket that Ladoja took from you.
Yes.
Adedibu helped Ladoja to take the ticket from you. What happened?
Well, the fact was, maybe this will be a story for another day, but the reality was religion was brought into play. And again, certain other factors came into play.
What are these factors?
Yes, you see, that's what I'm saying. When Kwala Koshala was governor, he practically had no choice but to support my candidature. But along the line, certain realities came up that certain interests have to be, addressed.
Interest? That's
yes.
Certain interests. Who are these people?
That's what I'm saying. The interest in politics, the interest in religion, and the interest in some. You see, some people have certain primordial characteristics that they will now exact at the time that it suits them. So at that time, Kwala Koshala felt he needed to satisfy Ladoja for his financial contributions. The Muslim community felt you cannot be governor and you're a Christian. Our senator too should be a Muslim, and a few other things. So that also, is part of what we really need to address.
Did you recover from that disappointment? Did you recover politically?
Well, I put that behind me, because even if I had gone in, I wouldn't have spent more than 6 months, because the military. Yes, they were not even sworn in for about 6 months, and they spent less than 6 months. So I don't think I lost anything.
Dr. Dangibo, let's look at these intrigues that determine who gets what. Politics is about who gets what. Is it not true?
Well, that's what
Harold Laswell said. Who gets what?
When, and how. Well, I think that the political players should be able to tell us. I think when you're talking about the interests, we should also not forget, I think after Jonathan left and Reuben Abati came out, he wrote something that I think we have not been able to unravel. That if you went to Aso Rock, there are certain things that gag you. We don't know those things. But practically speaking, it's a game. And it's a game, it's not a straightforward game. And if they are talking about interests, there certainly are interests. And I'll give an instance. The senator here said something like, and it's the wish of all Nigerians, even within the military circle, that you were not expected to have retained some service chiefs for about 6 years now. What that meant is that there are juniors who would have been service chiefs in the last 4 years have retired. They've retired. And that already is troubling the military itself. You know, why the president will keep them, it's based on an interest. That interest perhaps is only the president that can tell what the interest is.
But as an analyst, you are even from around that zone.
Yes,
as an analyst, why is the president keeping them?
Well, I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know why he should be kept. If you ask me, I would go along with every Nigerian that these people were supposed to have retired some 4 years back. Even in the military tradition, you've never had a situation where a GOC was posted beyond 2 years to become the GOC of a particular division. And then you are keeping service chiefs. There is fatigue in ideas. There is, there's some kind of monopoly that some people are unable to tear apart and bring in new ideas. And we keep on doing the same thing, and so you won't be thinking about technology, because if the orientation that you have for security is combat orientation, technology will be a strange thing. For them to be advised, they are really technological, but for you to get that through, it is all about the chief. And unfortunately, the systems have become personalized, even within the military circle. What you now hear is the vision, the mission and vision of the Chief of Army Staff. Nobody tells you about the vision and mission of, the defense part of Nigeria. So every Chief of Army Staff, every Chief of Air Staff, every Chief of Naval Staff comes with his own mission and vision. And then the country does not have a mission and vision in defense policies.
So we are in a chaotic state.
We are, certainly.
Now, in understanding intrigues and politics, Diran, can you tell us, how did intrigues affect the politics of the PDP in the last gubernatorial election in Osun State? What happened to Omishore? What were the interests that swayed him?
Omishore, or you mean Adeleke?
No, Omishore, there was a rerun.
Okay.
What were the interests that decided that rerun?
Okay, you see, just like Senator Folarin said, politics is not mathematics where you get 4 when you had 2 plus 2. Politics is not an avenue to predict what will happen the next day or the next minute. And that is why they always say 24 hours is a long time in politics. You can never decide, you can never know what is going to happen. In Osun State, of course, it was glaring that Omishore lost the election. He came third. It became a factor at the point in time simply because there were two polling booths, not wards, polling booths that fell within his constituency. And they needed to guide that vote because the first one, Adeleke won hands down. 4 of the constituencies were in Oshogbo area and 2 fell among Omishore's constituency. What they needed Omishore for was to destabilize that vote and ensure that that vote comes to APC.
How did he do that?
Through thuggery, through the use of the likes of thugs they brought from Lagos. So the medias were there. We so much did it in such a way that we employed channels AIT to monitor those 2 polling units. But they made sure that journalists were not even allowed to get to the polling units, talk less of casting their votes.
How did they do that?
They were able to do it because at the end of the day, they manipulated the whole thing. Federal might, thuggery, and whatever. They gave a signal to their to people they know who are going to vote for them, the APC people. And the signal they gave them was an handkerchief, white handkerchief.
Okay.
Once you have that, they know you are coming to vote for APC.
Okay.
And they allow you in. If you don't have that, they beat you up, they mess you up.
Did this happen?
You are a journalist. I'm sure you know what you are saying. It did happen.
Yes. Senator Folarin.
Yeah, I want to comment. I don't think Diran's account is entirely correct.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is that because we understand the politics there, Omishuri was the most experienced politician at the time before he left PDP. And he was ambitious. He wanted to be governor. And you know, PDP is a cash and carry party.
The way you talk about
you are talking about PDP as cash and carry now.
You were the gubernatorial candidate of the PDP in 2015.
Can I just finish, please?
All right.
PDP is a cash and carry party. So what happened was they skimmed out Omishori, and so he got angry and left the party. Yes, to win an election in Nigeria, you must have a strong platform. He didn't have the platform. He went to SDP, and within 2 months or 3 months of the election, and so he came third. And so when it was time for a rerun, this is politics. It was Omishori's interest to make sure that PDP that threw him out did not win the election.
So how did he do it?
He sided with APC.
Through Togri?
No, not through Togri.
You are not aware of the one fact, and I'm from Osun. Let me tell you this. He lost in those 2 polling units. He lost as SDP candidate from Ile-Ife. He lost in those 2 polling units, which makes it glaring that it was through Togri that they were able to win back for APC.
On the front page of the Saturday Punch, leadership crisis, APC to get new chair, National Working Committee in November. Buni led caretaker to pacify more party leaders after meeting Tinubu. Panel to review Banire Committee report on Constitution amendment. Party may okay indirect primary for Ondo, vows to win Edo governorship election.
I think APC is a better party than PDP. I was in PDP for many years, and I know what I'm talking about. Come back to PDP. What for? What will I go into PDP?
Because I'm going to ask you,
No.
You know how you got into the APC?
No.
Okay, let's talk about that now.
Yes.
You know how you got into the APC? You at the time hijacked the PDP and you became the governorship candidate of the PDP in Oyo State in 2015. Perhaps Ladoja was your nemesis. He came back to the PDP and you jumped ship, abandoning PDP for Ladoja to APC. Ajimobi accommodated you. And through Ajimobi's influence, you were able to get the Senate ticket. True or false?
Not completely true. When you say we hijacked the party, I don't understand what you mean.
Through political intrigues and interests.
Yeah, see, but this politics is about interest. And if you want to win elections or want to stand as candidates, you must have an influence in the party. So that's not hijacking the party.
Perhaps I used the wrong word. You captured the party.
I didn't capture the party. It wasn't just me. Not one single person can capture a party.
But the way you were pushed out of the party.
No,
also...
I wasn't. See, I wasn't. After we lost, or after I lost in 2015, it became clear to me that I had to leave because it was a question of the next election. Even if I was in the party and somebody else picks the ticket, then my own supporters would say, "Oh, we're going to puncture that tire." And I didn't want that cycle. So I thought, let me leave.
Now, Ajimobi, your man is no more.
Yeah.
Are you sure APC is your home?
How do you mean APC is mine? APC is a political party that belongs to nobody.
Because that's the fear now in some quarters, that Ajimobi is gone, that has been backing Senator Folarin. So what happens to Folarin? That's why somebody is saying that you are going to move back to the PDP, where you really belong.
Oh, Teslim Folarin can always look after himself any day, anytime. Don't worry about that.
You just made the point.
Don't worry about that.
He can take care of himself.
Oh, absolutely.
I see. Comrade Aborisade, let's look at this. Social justice is about how economic goods and services are distributed to meet the competing desires and demands of the people. It has to do with the moral principles that guide a system in designing its economic institutions. The core idea of the principle of social justice is common good. There is no social justice in a system built on corruption, you agree?
Absolutely.
Section 14, subsection 1 of the Nigerian Constitution states that the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on the principles of democracy and social justice, meaning that the primary purpose of government is the security and welfare of the people. Why have we not attained this? Because the politicians are talking about interest, and these interests are against the Constitution.
I think that is the heart of the matter. The Constitution, as you have rightly read out, provides that the primary purpose of government is the welfare and security of the people. We have had neither, no security, no welfare of the people. And if the ruling class, particularly the two ruling political parties, APC and the PDP, they are unable to understand the root of the problem that confronts Nigeria. That is why they are zeroing in down on the service chiefs leaving. Service chiefs deserve to leave, no doubt about that. But the problem is not restricted to service chiefs leaving. The problem is much more fundamental than that. The problem is that the two political parties lack a program predicated upon the Constitution they swore to uphold under Chapter 2 of the Constitution. Therefore, it is not only the service chiefs that deserve to leave. In actual fact, in reality, the Nigerian people ought to be on the streets on a daily basis asking the PDP and the APC to leave power.
Leave power for who?
To leave power. If they cannot implement the provisions of Chapter 2 of the Constitution. Because under Section 224 of the Constitution, any ruling political party shall have a program predicated upon Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about provision of free medical care, a minimum wage, jobs for the unemployed or unemployment allowances, free education, and so on and so forth. These two political parties do not have a program predicated upon that. It is now our responsibility as ordinary people to organize politically, because they will never leave power on their own willingly. They will have to be pushed out by peaceful, massive protests of ordinary people. The average politician in Nigeria, they can be equated to a fisherman. The fisherman throws a bait at the fish. The fish presume that this is food, runs at it, and then is caught. That is the role they have been playing. They have been inducing our people, and where inducement would not work, they unleash violence on them. We must understand the average politician for what he or she is. We need to organize politically on a program predicated upon Chapter 2 of the Constitution, provision of socio-economic rights.
I really sympathize with Dr. Aborisade. But you see, I had an experience recently where somebody did a bit of a wrong action. And I pointed it out to him. I said, what you have done is very wrong. This is what you should normally do. He said, yes, I know, but the law does not allow me to do the right thing. What I have done, which you perceive to be wrong, that which he also admitted to be wrong, was guided by the prevailing law. The Chapter 2 of the Constitution, Dr. Aborisade is pronouncing to high heavens, is just part of the problem of this country. The problem of Nigeria is that Constitution. You see, even if you come in as a political party, call it Aborisade Party, as long as you have that Constitution, you will find that your activities, your programs will not be any different from what you have in PDP and APC. I'll give you an example. when you have a constitution that concentrates so much power in the executive, so much power, even in the National Assembly. I'm not saying what they are doing is wrong, but you see, they have to exercise the powers that they have. You just saw a very embarrassing display of conflict of powers and interests between this man, the lawyer, Keyamo. And National Assembly. Under normal circumstance, it is even uncalled for. But the Constitution actually prescribed that scenario. Because if what he was trying to do had been part of powers that have been devolved, perhaps to the states, you might not even have Keyamo even exercising that control at the national level. You want to create 774,000 jobs, and you want it to be federally, but that is the power that he has. So what I will say is that unless we are bold enough as a nation to come to the reality of the fact that you have an unworkable and a dysfunctional constitution, and also a dysfunctional state that needs to be a bit, I won't even say, holistic, needs to be restructured along certain parameters. No party in power will be able to deviate from the course that you have seen PDP run, and also the course that you have seen APC run.
I'm discussing with Professor Soji Adejumo. I have Senator Teslim Folarin representing Oyo Central Senatorial District in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Diran, is on state affairs. Dr. Nathaniel Dangibo, a political scientist, is of the Institute of Peace and Conflict Studies, University of Ibadan. And Femi Aborisade is the interim deputy chairman, Alliance on Surviving COVID-19 and Beyond, ASCAB, Oyo State chapter.
When nature calls, we answer. Bush Radio.